They have entertained us royally throughout the year. St Helens are B-side of 2006.
But that was last season. What would 2007 bring?
Oh my word! It's a fabulous victory for Warrington. Ashton has got the try, and here's by the corner, unstoppable! Oh, big hit! It's a real sparkler. The whole derby is going west.
Out across the river in Ludbury.
And Leeds can't believe it! They've won it! How quick is Kevin Penny? All trouble. Absolutely wonderful. O'Neill is fallen over and he just gets back. Time is running out for Salford. Oh! Leeds Riders, the Super League champions of 2007.
There was a new team in the mix for the launch of the 2007 Engage Super League season, with Hull Kingston Rovers returning to the top flight for the first time in 13 years.
Hull Kingston Rovers are into Super League!
And the Robins were determined that their inaugural season wouldn't be a flash in the pan.
History tells us that it's difficult for the team that gets promoted. But that was Cass and Lee. We're Hull Kingston Rovers. We're a whole different ball game. Keep the faith. We'll be fine. We're certainly on the rugby pitch, progressing very nicely. After the grand final, immediately after the grand final, it took some time for it to sink in that this coming season we'll be going to Wigan and to Leeds and to Harlequins and Hull. So it's finally sunk in. Certainly a lot different to going to Oldham and Batley last year. While that was a great experience for us, we're now at the top bracket of rugby league in the country. I'm confident that we'll be competitive. We've got a good structure in place at the club, and from the playing side of things, I'm pretty confident that we'll get things done as well.
Hull KR's preparations began in sunny Spain as Justin Morgan's men hope to make a splash come the start of the season.
The weather's fantastic. Looking in the early 20s every day, which is a big difference from Hull. And, it's good to spend some time with the boys and get to know everyone before the season starts.
This is the first year in, and they've got a club with a lot of tradition and a lot of heritage, so it'll be good to play with the Rovers in the first year back in.
They may have been odds-on favourites for the drop, but Rovers made a flying start with 2 sensational victories.
Chester waits on a dummy half, throws the dummy, Goddard sniffs an opportunity, Morel must score! Hull Kingston Rovers' first ever Super League try! Chris Chester getting through there, tackling now Obst at dummy half, throws the dummy, Obst! Wakefield are back in it. Obst now, back it goes to a Rooney drop goal attempt! Oh, what a moment from Rooney! From fully 40 yards! The Wakefield Trinity Wildcats lead. 1 pointer perhaps. Webster throws the dummy. Maybe they're trying to snatch all the points. And it comes to Cockayne. Hull Kingston Rovers have snatched it.
And we've got the monkey off the back. That's the biggest thing. People aren't going to be saying, "Oh, when's that first win coming? When's that first win coming?" It's been and gone now, and we can build from now.
Webster brings the ball back to the left-hand side. He's looking for Chester. Oh, this is going to be a try! It is a try! It's Scott Morel!
Now it's Webster. Webster gets it to Tangata-Toe. Tangata-Toe slips it out to Cockayne! And Cockayne crashes over!
Hull KR were catching the eye, but following an off-roading session, it was St Helens who were all geared up for more success. Although much would depend on how they'd cope without their Aussie superstar, Jamie Lyon. Matt Gidley, the man signed as his replacement.
obviously knew how successful they were last year, and I know they've been one of the top clubs in the Super League since the Super League began, and I realised they've got a great history. So it's one of the major reasons I decided to come to the club.
I've respected Matt for a long time, and I've played against him when he played for Australia, and I've always watched him on TV. He's a great player. If anybody could fill Jamie Lane's shoes, they've got the perfect person to do it.
More types of players in some areas, but obviously different in others. So I'm hoping just to initially try and fit into the team and understand the way they play, and then hopefully we can all have some success.
We've set a massive bar, and there's only us that can do anything about that. We know how we've got to prepare, we know how we've got to play, and if we can play anything like we played last year, then we're in with a good shout.
Saints, though, were stuck in the mud early on, and after narrowly defeating Huddersfield on the opening night, they slumped to a shock defeat in the snow against Harlequins, followed a week later by throwing away an 18-6 half-time lead at Wakefield, as they slipped to their second successive defeat for the first time in 8 months.
It's not been the best of starts for us in Super League, but we know it's a one-off game, and it's anyone's on the night.
Their next game was a world title showdown against Darren Lockyer's Brisbane Broncos, as Australia's finest met England's finest. But Saints had their lucky 13 back.
Ball at Skulldog, out of action for 6 months. Massive gamble. Concentration. Oh, it's looking good. It's there. Good ball. There we go. Skulldog is in. Beautiful 1-2 between Cunningham and Skulldog. What an occasion for that man who at one stage thought his career was over. Paul Skulldog, the man of the match.
Sculthorpe's old club Warrington had reasons to be cheerful ahead of the new campaign after securing the signature of hard-hitting prop Adrian Morley from the Sydney City Roosters.
Warrington signed me for the player what I am. The idea is not to get suspended, but he don't want to change the way I play now. I spoke to a number of clubs, but Warrington impressed me the most. They've got the new stadium, and I was impressed with the playing roster. The last couple of years they've been there or thereabouts. They've made the playoffs. This year we've got myself and John O and Vinnie Anderson. So on paper, there's no reason why we can't go to that next level.
Warrington's first game at Wigan attracted a record attendance for an opening round fixture, with Australian Test star Trent Barrett making his Warriors debut. But for Morley, it was a night to forget.
Expansive stuff. Johnson takes on 2. Here's Barnett. It needs to be finished, and it is. It's a terrific try for Warrington. It's Clark again. Breers. Swift to Vinnie Anderson. Try for Warrington. Hyam. Oh, Morley came out looking for a big hit. And I think he might have come off second best. He has. The most handsome of characters at the moment, is he? Adrian Morley. Warrington's defence has been solid steel so far tonight. But Wigan asking questions again. Here's O'Loughlin. The chip is for Calderwood, who's taken and scored. Just picked the pocket of Richie Barnett. It's good pressure from Wigan. It's Hyam at dummy half. Here comes O'Loughlin trying to crash onto it too. It's come free. Hyam's the quickest to react, and it's going to be a touchdown by Bialicki. Wigan are back in it, but there's not long left. Real tension now on this Warrington line. The hooters sounded, and this will be it. It's the end of the game. It's a famous victory for Warrington. What a start for their Super League campaign.
The Wolves, though, were tamed a week later by a Bradford side who'd won all 3 matches in February, as McNamara's band marched to the top of the table, with Leslie Vainicolo securing a memorable hat-trick the following week as the Bulls welcomed Brian Noble and Stuart Fielden back to Odsal for the first time since their departure to Wigan.
Newton, back to Deacon. Little step by the scrum half. Oh, good hands from Solomona. Happy takes 2 defenders and opens it up for Leslie Vainicolo. Great play. Newton. All the way to Vainicolo. Missed out too. Brutal finish. Here's Solomona. Oh, that's dainty, and it's a try. Vainikolo's in again. Well, you have to credit the quick thinking here of David Solomona. Wonderful skills. The kick was deft, and Vainikolo with a simple finish.
Harlequins boss Brian McDermott was named Engaged Coach of the Month for February after his side had claimed 5 points from their first 3 matches. Wakefield standoff Jamie Rooney scooped the first Player of the Month award after his side's impressive home victories over St Helens and Salford.
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with my performance, but a lot of credit for this award has to go to us forwards. I think they've been tremendous to start a Super League, and if they can carry that on, then who knows where we'll finish.
It was a new dawn at Salford in more ways than one, but with only 1 point from 3 games at the start of March, it hadn't been the glitzy start Reds fans had wanted.
A little bit frustrated, I think, but still positive because we've played some very bad football, but yet we've still, we've got a point out of the Harlequins and we nearly got over the line at Leeds. But it's been disappointing that we've played the way we have and started the way we have. But it's positive in a way that we've played so badly and yet we've got something out of them. So I don't think anybody's panicking at this stage. We're just, we're trying to build all their combinations.
Salford weren't the only team struggling though, with things going from bad to worse for Huddersfield as John Sharp's men slumped to a 4th consecutive defeat to leave the Giants rooted to the foot of the Super League ladder.
Godwin at dummy half. King. Oh, nice offload to Radford. And King's in support, and Hull are heading for their first win of the season.
One team who'd found the winning formula was Wakefield, whose coach John Keir had found the perfect preparation.
It tends to be on match day actually, and I've got all the week signing there in front of me, and I can put a DVD on, or I can watch the golf or something like that and just do a bit of ironing. I find it quite therapeutic.
Early wins over St Helens and Salford had ironed out the creases that had hindered much of Wakefield's 2006 campaign. And it was full steam ahead for the Wildcats in March, as they went top of the table for the first time in Super League history.
Meyer, nice into Rooney. March in support, he's still going. March pushes off Richard Horn, crosses the whitewash.
Elsewhere, Wigan's slow start had almost reached a stop when they were humiliated at home by Hull KR, who pulled off the shock of the season.
Stanley G. And now Cockayne. Jinking run, finds Chris Chester. The support out wide. Byron Ford will score. 2 minutes. What a start. James Webster. Now Chris Chester, little grubber. It's a dangerous one. Byron Ford will get there. 2 tries in 60 minutes. Fisher. Oh, he's going himself. He scored. It's dreamland for Hull KR.
I said before the game, the JJB was a stadium I'm looking forward to coming to, and to come here and get the 2 points is very rewarding.
The team looked better than us that were playing against us, and that's hard to stomach sometimes, but we can't. It's important we don't throw the baby away with the bathwater. We're disappointed, and the fans showed the disappointment. I can understand that, so we need to be a whole lot better next week.
Can't keep putting up with this. We had it last season, we've got it again this season.
Well, for Super League itself, it's tremendous. It's thrown up so many surprises that I'm sure everyone in Super League is thrilled to bits. For Wigan, no, not very good at all. This year, we were pretty sure because of the end of season last year when we finished so dominantly that we'd be able to carry that on, and it just hasn't happened.
But Wigan welcomed back Trent Barrett for the visit of Harlequins, and the standoff made an instant impact, with his kick setting up David Vialicki's touchdown, as the Warriors returned to winning ways, much to the delight of their coach.
We were called last week about their attitude and probably their desire. Well, I think we saw plenty of that this week. And that's the only way you can respond to critics, is you stand up, and sometimes you have to tough one out in a game like that against a very good team, to get your confidence going and to get you rolling the right way.
Well, they're held up just short, but Wigan asking all the questions of this Salford defence. Something has to give soon, you feel. Here's Luluai, little dab by him, missed by the defender, caught and touchdown. Ashton has got the try. It's Millard again, little scoop from him, and the ball back to O'Loughlin, who tangles with three and somehow gets through. Wigan just happy to chew up the meterage here. Bailey with a good offload. Barrett just about hangs on. Ashton back outside, and Calderwood will sprint away. Clever stuff from Wigan. The confidence is returning to those in cherry and white. Miller with a short ball. It's an easy one for Barrett. Trent Barrett's first try in cherry and white. And Wigan have the lead. Barrett with a pass. It's a good ball to O'Loughlin. Terrific play. O'Loughlin with a break, and Barrett's in support. And this will be his second of the night. It's a real sparkler.
A brace of tries for Barrett then, keen to get Wigan back on the glory trail.
Wigan's probably the most famous English club in Australia, and you know, I think that goes back to the 80s when they did have those great sides where they really dominated the English comp, won all the Challenge Cups, and a lot of memories, even for an Australian, of those times. So it'd be nice to get back to something like that.
Leeds, like Wigan, hit some form in late March, thanks to their own Fab Four of Kiwis who were enjoying life at Headingley.
No woman, no cry.
Oh, you're a bit flat. You're a bit flat, bro.
Woman, no cry.
She's a bit flat.
Probably the drummer.
Oh, I'm not too bad on the piano.
I'll be more the triangle man, I think, or the tambourine.
I've got a nice voice. I'm pretty smooth in that area.
Leeds were certainly smooth operators in the league, and their hard-fought victory over Wakefield was followed by another success against a resilient Harlequins outfit, as the Rhinos boys were all singing from the same hymn sheet in March.
Maguire tried the kick and chase, but the ricochet's fallen kindly. Ellis, disc in, offload to Brent Webb, who will go under. 10-0, 10 minutes. Tanzi out to Maguire. Webb, Ashley Gibson out wide. Oh, it's a clever little kick. Tupi and Webb on the chase. It'll be Webb. The Kiwi Stars in again.
Another Kiwi, Stacey Jones, was pulling the strings for Catalan, and his drop goal sealed the points against Huddersfield in a thriller down in Perpignan. And a week later, the little general was at it again, helping the French to a famous win at Bradford, as the Bulls slipped to their second defeat in March, having earlier met their match against a rampant St Helens side.
Bradford's defence is on the back foot. Here comes Price against his former side. No way through just yet, but only 10 yards away. Roby again with a quick dash and step. It's a terrific ball for Fossard to score. Gidley. Long. Roby short pass, Tallow with a run. Crashing through. Bradford just happy to spend some time inside the St Helens half, albeit without the ball, but maybe not for long. That's good hands off the floor by Melly. Well, it's still going. Here's Roby, hands off one. Happy can't keep hold. It's Gilmore in support. It's another fabulous St Helens try. 70 yards they covered, right down the middle. One or two suspect tackles, but fabulous handling. They can be at times very easy on the eye. Gilmore with a finish. Here's Wilkin. Oh, seemed to be caught a little late there, Wilkin as well.
Leave him.
Well, let's have a look at that. It was late. Terry Newton came in with the arm, and high too. He's on report. St Helens down to 11 men with Gilmore off too. So it's a torrid night for St Helens. Here's Harris. Newton, not exactly a crowd favourite. Platt, Happy is to his left, and Shontaine Happy with his second. but it is St Helens Knights. They are back to their best.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here this afternoon to announce Tony Smith as the new Great Britain coach.
Excited and proud and very honoured to take up such a prestigious position.
One man Smith wouldn't be selecting for Great Britain was Wigan's Chris Ashton, who'd rejected a new deal at the JJB in favour of a big money move to Northampton Rugby Union. April kicked off with a blockbuster at Odsal as Bradford and Leeds went head-to-head for the first time in 2007.
Real intensity to what is always a big match-up between these two sides. Webb's going wide. Here comes Senior. Senior has got Donald, and Donald is pulled down, but he's going to get there. Here's Henderson from dummy half, and now Solomono, the magician with the hands. Got that away nicely. Here's Harris. Having a look, it's a good long pass, they've got numbers here. Morrison keeps his poise, and St Hilaire will score in the corner. Great try. Morrison, Weston Harris, here's Feather. Nicely offloaded by him, he took 3 defenders with him, and now they go wide, and here's Vainikolo. Unstoppable. Leslie Vainikolo is simply unstoppable. Sidfield with a little grubber kick through. It's touchdown. But what happened before it was touchdown?
Look at this situation here.
Diskin goes for it. Has lost it, but it was grabbed away by Platt. And then dropped on by Ellis. This will be a try, you know. Tries given. Leeds are right back in the game. There's only a matter of 2 minutes left to play. Leeds trailing by 2, have to get through this Bradford line if they are going to win this game. Or can Bradford hang on? That's Peacock with the offload. Here comes Maguire. Suddenly Maguire's off. Out to Donald, and Scott Donald has won it. It's a match-winning try. What a dramatic finish. Leeds have snatched it. It's a real smash and grab raid at Odsal.
Elsewhere, Huddersfield were looking to end their dismal run of played 7, lost 7 as they met Wakefield.
Drew with a grubber. Oh, mistake by Blaymire. Riley, Robbie Paul spinning away. Huddersfield may be heading for their first win already. Paul to Drew. And Rally in support, Andy Rally, it's 32 now. They can't stop scoring. Robbie Paul, typical jinking run. Keith Mason, now Chris Thorman, Stuart Jones, they're in for another here. It's Kevin Brown for the taking.
A lot of the processes that we prided ourselves on in the previous 7 rounds we just didn't complete tonight, and the scoreboard reflects the relative performances of the 2 teams.
You know, tonight I thought was a key indicator for us that we're a decent team, and we played some decent stuff, and everything clicked, and you know, 2 points is 2 points for us ultimately, and we couldn't afford to have dropped any further behind the teams that are just above us, so it was really important for us.
Huddersfield's win over Warrington the following week signalled the start of a stunning revival for John Sharp's men. And after catching Wigan on the back foot, the Giants moved off the bottom of the table. But it was a disappointing display from Wigan, who'd been involved in one of the all-time classic Super League matches the previous week.
Here's Diskin. Now Burrow. Up to the line, and Webb, the fullback. He's managed to offload to Burrow again. Here's Senior, and Keith Senior from that range can be unstoppable. Here's Luluai. Inside ball. Leeds' defence is smart to react. Barrett to his feet. Hyam. Now Luluai again. Oh, it's a delightful kick by him. Has Fletcher got there? The video referee inevitably is required here. Oh, he's got that down, you know. It's short of the line. Downward pressure. Try given. Great kick by Luluai. Here's Luluai again.
4, surrender.
Couple of tackles left to play.
Move.
In this set, it's Hyam who delivers the pass. A little dainty kick. Calderwood Great play. Trent Barrett with the inch-perfect rubber kick to the in-goal. Leeds knowing they have to score soon, trailing as they do by 12. Burrow with a dummy, not sure where he's going. He does, straight for the line. Rob Burrow. Well, again, we're having a look at the video replay, but that low centre of gravity has taken him over. Leeds have the try. Oh, good inside ball. Ellis, he's over. Gareth Ellis sparking the celebrations because suddenly Leeds down and out are right back in the game. They've got a decent position. Can Leeds hang on? It's Hyam from dummy half. It'll scoot by him. Barrett, Luloy, O'Loughlin, Bailey for the corner. Bailey has scored. He's snatched it for Wigan. At the very last, Phil Bailey with a try that's won the game. Brian Noble can barely believe it. But watch this. Great hands, quick as you like, right across the line. And Bailey put his head down. And in he went. And Wigan have snatched it. What a win against all the odds.
Bailey's last-minute try had left Leeds heartbroken, but the Rhinos rallied, and their response was a 9-try rout of Warrington. Ideal preparation for the visit of the champions 6 days later.
Ooh, Wellens, well taken. Here's Farsavalu. Farsavalu, brilliant! What a pass! And Roby is away. What a fantastic try that was. It's back with Peacock. Peacock! Oh, terrific! Awesome! St Helens with the opportunity to attack. Offload. Oh, Wellens has dropped it. It's picked up by Lee Smith. They don't want him to pick it up because he's got pace to burn. Lee Smith's away. They're trying to catch him, but Lee Smith, great angle, off to Burrow, and Burrow will scoot away to score the try.
Another towering display then from Super League's smallest player, as Rob Burrow was reaching dizzy heights in April with 4 tries in his last 3 matches.
So here we are on the tallest building in Leeds, the Bridgewater Place. Let's take a look around.
Robbie Burrow with a dummy and another, still going. Oh, what a try. I'm not sure anyone else in Super League could have scored that.
You know, the big guys love a bit of contact, but sometimes they don't like it when a smaller guy runs at them. And I try to use that to my ability because, you know, if they do get me, then they generally do get stuck into me. I'm pretty happy how this year's going. You know, the team's top at league, which is the main thing, but I'm pretty happy with my performances. You've got to be consistent if you want to achieve things, and as a team, we feel we're doing that quite okay. We've still got more to come, and hopefully, if everybody does the part, we should be all right. It's extremely high up here. Hopefully Leeds can stay high up in the table.
It was over in the east where the real drama was set to unfold, though, as the city of Hull geared up for its first competitive derby in 10 years.
Swain at dummy half. Here's Cook. It's a trademark long ball. Rayner back inside and tackle. Bradford. It's Cook. Oh, lovely inside ball. And Briscoe is in. Unpick the seams of the Rovers defence. Fisher. Here's Webster. Webster's got the numbers. Oh, and Vella's just held up short. But Hull's defence has worked tirelessly thus far. Webster suddenly. Oh, and it had to give. It had to give in the end, and it was Luke Dyer who has plunged over. Sway. It's Cook, long ball to Singh, who'll score, and Paul Cook again with the magic in his fingertips, with a lovely, lovely long ball over the top, and Singh with a simple finish. Fisher, oh lovely, lovely inside ball, and Tagatita! Oh, great part. Rovers sense it is not a lost cause. Webster goes left,
further left, and into the corner goes Bauer. Andreas Bauer has pulled it right back. Here's a shot looking on. Here comes Domic, pushing for the line. That's won it. Sid Domic has won the game. He's clattered his teammate in the process, but they don't mind. The whole derby is going west.
Hull may have won the first bragging rights, but the real story in black and white was set to rock the rugby league world, as Paul Cook had sensationally walked out of the KC Stadium to join the Rovers revolution on the other side of the river, in an act reminiscent of Clive Sullivan a few decades earlier. And there was just as much outcry this time around.
John, put this into context for us. You know the whole situation well. How big a story is this? I'll tell you what, it should wipe Coronation Street off the books, because it's like a soap opera, isn't it? It really is.
You can't cross the river in rugby. We don't like players going there, they don't like players coming here.
The intention isn't to cause any damage in the relations between the clubs, but we're all big boys, and I suspect if the roles were reversed that another club would have done exactly the same thing.
Like I said, I live and die by every single decision I make, and this one's no different.
News broke in April that former Warrington star Andrew Johns, a player widely regarded as the world's finest, had been forced to retire with a neck injury.
I was lucky enough to play with Andrew Johns. His presence when he come over, I can't describe to you, the feeling of euphoria in the town. From rugby league as a whole, I think it's a massive loss to probably lose the world's greatest player.
May began with a mass rugby league pilgrimage down to Cardiff for the aptly named Millennium Magic Weekend. But all the focus was still on Cook and an early reunion with his former club.
It was far away from the goldfish ball of Hull and the city of rugby league and the players that are surrounded by that. So it was a little bit easier because it was down there and nobody could get into my hotel room, I suppose.
Here's Fisher, dummy half. Webster with a run, and Stanley Jean, one of those who came on, but well repelled by this Hull defence. Good position here, though, for Rovers. Paul Cook with a kick. Oh, it's taken a nasty bounce. Well, Michaeli Azu is the one to prosper. Here's Fisher. Webster. Cook plays it back inside. That's good hands, and Cockayne on the angle. And Ben Cockayne in for a very smart Hull Kingston Rovers try. So the tap restart and 6 tackles from here, and it's a good position for Hull, which is looking better by the minute. Little step by Rayner, and it's a very, very good Hull try. Rayner. It's going to be a lofted kick for the corner. Who's going to get under this? Singh was there, but Byron Ford has it. Oh, he's lost it, and Sid Domic is over.
With Paul Wellens' 4 touchdowns single-handedly destroying Wigan and Warrington turning on the style against Salford, the fans were enjoying an action-packed weekend. And the final match was the most exciting of them all.
Sinfield waits a dummy half. Leeds go blind with O'Donnell. What a pass! It's a terrific try for Jamie Jones-Buchanan, but it was miracle hands from Donald. Here's Maguire, little step by him and a second one, and suddenly he's opened things up here in the Bradford defence. The magical feet of Danny Maguire. It's a delicious pass, and Brent Webb will run away for a real eye-catching try. Newton. And a pounding run this time by Iestyn Harris. Trying to muscle up, and he's done ever so well to get the arms free, and onto Newton again, and it's a good hand, and suddenly Bradford have the gap with Platt. Who's in? He's always there to finish. To his feet quickly. Here comes the kick. It's a cheeky little chip as well, which is taken by Solomona. Has he lost it? It's been picked up by Evans. Out to Vainikolo, who has scored this time. Here's Burrow. It's tense now. Leeds needs something desperately. It's picked up by Bradford.
It might just well be game over. Oh, hang on, he's given a penalty. Steve Ganson has given a penalty here. Well, what's he given it for? Offside, but there was a touch by a Leeds player. Sinfield, all eyes on him to draw the game. Oh, he's hit the post. He's hit the post, but hang on, it's Tanti! Oh, Jordan Tanti's over! And Leeds can't believe it! They've won it! They've snatched it at the death! Leeds have won this game in the most dramatic of circumstances. Justin Harris is furious. Presumably felt it should have been a penalty. Oh, and you look at the replay, there are players offside as well as they go in chasing the ball, and Tanzi was one of them. He was offside, but the try is given. And in the most dramatic of circumstances, Leeds have won it. Kevin Sinfield with the formalities. It's a victory for Leeds, but my word, what a finish to this weekend.
The Rugby Football League have released a statement today in which Steve Ganson, the referee, has admitted he made a mistake in awarding the try. Let me read a little bit of it. After reviewing the video footage from the game, he says, "It's clear that I made the wrong decision in awarding Tanzi's try. In hindsight, I wish I had referred the decision to the video referee." Robbie, some admission that from Mr. Ganson.
Rather than just a public apology, I'd actually want the RFL to take me out for tea or something like that, something a little special. But yeah, I mean, that was a terrible call.
Phil Bentham took the refereeing reins for Bradford's next league game, but it made no difference as Huddersfield recorded their first victory over the Bulls in 35 years.
Robbie Paul. Here's Earl Crabtree. Good offload by him to Thorman. Back to Robbie Paul, who's scooting away and has support. And Jones is underneath the sticks for a quite superb try. Harris twisting it away to St Hilaire. Oh, it's been lost by McAvoy, and it's collected by Thorman. He's got plenty to do, but he's done the hard work with the handoff, and Thorman is away. It's another Huddersfield try. They're on fire in this first half. It's going to be Brown again with a little chip. That's clever. Kevin Brown collects two. The offload away from Crabtree. Got a touch from Bradford suddenly. The chase is on the other way. Oh, this is a huge, huge opportunity now. Halley's going to go all the way. It's clever footwork by Raleigh. Oh, my word! Halley thought he got over, and Wild simply didn't give up. There's Paul. Hudson with a slip, and then quickly to his feet again. Oh, he's torn his way through. Chips it over the top. It's Thorman who chases. Little kick on. Thorman will collect. That's it. What a way to cap a wonderful victory for the Huddersfield Giants.
Wigan were among the teams suffering Millennium Magic hangovers as they fell victim to another Robins raid at the JJB. Ian Hardman with the pick of the tries for the visitors. There was another shock result at the Halliwell Jones. The Warrington players were booed off the pitch after suffering a home defeat to Harlequins. Julien Rinaldi's effort added to the Wolves' woes. The only consolation for Paul Cullen was that he wasn't coaching Salford, whose humiliation at Catalan was ultimately to cost Reds boss Carl Harrison his job.
Maguire, long pass out to Adam Mark, and Justin Murphy will go in to score.
No second efforts, Mal.
Jones, Gossard brushes off a couple of Salford tacklers. Here's Green Shield, support from Bosch, and he will go all the way under the post, and Salford are in tatters already. Mogg, oh, he bursts away from dummy half, it's easy. Murphy, Mogg, it's 42-0, and the second half starts how the first ended. Quickly to Jones, so one of those teasing little kicks, and Green Shields will get there. 66 points for Catalan, but the pressure's on Carl Harrison.
So, with Carl Harrison sacked, Salford faced an in-form Huddersfield side who dumped the Reds out of the Cup earlier that month. But all the focus was on the man in the stands, with Sean McRae heavily linked with the job of new coach at the Willows.
Littler now at dummy half. Here comes the sixth tackle. Robinson again, skips it away. They're running with a bit of depth here, and they've got the opening too. Kevin McGuinness is in for the first try of the night. Riley. Down to Robbie Paul. Here's Drew. Huddersfield stretching with Wild again. It was all a little easy in the end. Hudson. Drew. Little reverse kick from him, but it's rather easily given away. And suddenly they're on their way to Wilshere with a half break. He has support from Hodgson. Drew's in hot pursuit. Hodgson is going to beat him to the line. Is he? Yes, he is. David Hodgson, length of the field from Salford. Well, the kick was poor. It was taken on by Wilshere, and then Hodgson, fleet of foot, with a terrific scamper to the line. Salford are flying again. There are some nervous observers on both sides. Here's Littler. He's trying to stretch this Salford defence, offloads back inside to McGuinness. McGuinness to Dawn. Suddenly things are opening up now. Dawn with a break, back inside to McGuinness. McGuinness is away. Huddersfield's defence closes in, but great by Otis there. It is a fantastic Salford try. Absolutely wonderful.
There were some other neat tries over at Wigan, but Trent Barrett's performance caught all the headlines, and the Aussie would win the Player of the Month award as a result.
Here's Dowes. Millie again looking for that left-hand side and finding Willie Manu, who shrugged off three defenders, and now round a fourth. Oh my word. Nicky Hyam. Here's Trent Barrett. Barrett with a little step of his left foot. Barrett for the line, he's in. Trent Barrett's over. Swiftly from the scrum. Here's Barrett. Barrett! Twisting, and has he got it down? Did he get the downward pressure? The video referee has a look. Surely will say yes. Try given. And Wigan, from being down and out and being booed, now have their fans dancing in the aisles. What a comeback.
The win against Hull to come behind from where we did and pile on so many points in the second half was a big game for us. But you know, we're just got to keep going. I think we're over halfway now. We've got about 11 games to go, and we really need to start making a bit of a run before the semis.
Saints boss Daniel Anderson scooped May's Coach of the Month award after his side blitzed Wakefield and Warrington to go back to the top of the table.
The challenge is harder this year. There's a lot of very, very good teams, but I'd like to think that we're a very good team as well. So once again, it'll depend on our availability of players in the playoffs in September and October. I think the Engage Super League award at Old Trafford that we got last year is still very proudly displayed here in the club's trophy room, and that's something that we're all striving for again this year.
Bradford had compensated for the loss of their try-machine Leslie Vainikolo by signing another Kiwi in Tame Tupu, supposedly a player in the mould of the Volcano. And Salford were also moving on after sacking their boss Carl Harrison, with assistant coach James Lowes expressing his desire to take over as head coach at the Willows. June will be remembered as the month the penny dropped at Warrington.
Hi, I'm Kevin Penny from the Warrington Wolves. In my spare time, I like to come down here and play basketball.
After turning his back on basketball to pursue a career in rugby league, Kevin made his debut against Leeds. And although Warrington went on to lose the game, the fans were cock-a-hoop after witnessing a new star.
I got a phone call to say that we were going to play against Leeds and to train well in the week. And you know, when the game came around, really, I just tried to keep myself busy through the day. And when kick-off came, I was really excited.
Deep contesting, and look at Penny chasing this. My word, Penny, where did he come from?
To be honest, it wasn't really meant for me to score, you know. He's got the nod off Clarkey and, you know, he just said chase harder and put some pressure on.
They might have something to show here. Here's Penny now, the left-hand side. Oh my word, he's flown past one and another. How quick is Kevin Penny?
I just wanted to go out and just try and play a good game. You know, and a try was a bonus really, but to get 2 and the way I got them as well, I was really pleased with the way I did it.
His 2 tries at Leeds were certainly special, but I thought his try against St Helens in the Challenge Cup was ultra special. I hadn't seen a try like that, and I said so in commentary, since the days of Van Vollenhoven playing down the wing there. To go past 4 men over 40 metres in a very, very confined position with no space whatsoever, at great pace, that takes some doing.
There's a bit more room in rugby league, so I can open up and show a bit more pace. Just need to get my head down now, and you know, I understand this is where all the hard work starts for me, trying to keep my place in the first team, and hopefully once I've done that, then I can get onto the international scene and play for Great Britain. It's just as easy as that.
There were plenty of basketball skills on display at Knowsley Road, but it took a last-gasp drop goal for the Globetrotters of St Helens to slam dunk a spirited Salford side.
Price still keeping it alive. Smith, he couldn't get away. Cunningham, Sculthorpe, Gardner, they're keeping it alive, they're keeping it going, they're going to score through Cunningham. Typical Saints. They're setting it up for Matty Smith, who will break Salford hearts.
But there was some good news for the Reds as they unveiled Sean McRae as their new coach.
Carl Harrison did a great job over the 5 years, and when Carl left the club, you know, we had to bring somebody in who was equally as good or if not better, and I don't think we could have gone any higher, you know, on our list than Sean McRae.
I'm really looking forward to it, and I've watched their last 2 games, and I'm really buoyed by the performances in those 2 games, and that instills confidence in me as a coach to know that these guys can be more than competitive. Friday night's a big game against Harlequins, and you know, we'd like to think we could start that game and more importantly finish it on a positive note and come out with 2 points. That'd be a great way to start at the club.
Jordan Turner at dummy half. Luke Robinson centres himself and it's over, and it's 3-2, a soccer score.
I've ever been involved in a game where a try hasn't been scored, so I don't know if that's a record that you want to have or not have, and I don't know if it's particularly pertinent, but at the same time the scoreline is, and the 2 points that we get in the competition table, they're very, very important to us.
We lacked imagination with the ball, and you know, we had enough possession near their try line to come up with something and didn't, which is disappointing.
Brian McDermott's side bounced back against Hull KR though, with Michael Warrensey and Lewis McCarthy-Scarsbrook among the scorers, as the local boys of London were catching the eye and proving rugby league has a bright future in the capital.
And McCarthy-Scarsbrook scores!
I moved to London when I was about 10, lived here ever since. I've got a brother who lives back in Leeds now, plays rugby up there. But yeah, it's good living in London, it's very different.
I'm originally from Kent, and born and bred in Gravesend.
Yeah, from East London, just over there, so you can probably see it in a minute. So.
The talent pool down here isn't as big as it could be, but it should be because it's a big city. There's a lot more people living here, a square mile radius than there is up north. But once it gets better, I hope it does, you know, the kids should be coming through, but until that happens, it's going to be somewhere you're going to have to go to get that high standard of rugby, which will probably have to be up north.
I think London's already raising the profile of rugby league down in London because you've got kids like age of 9 playing rugby league in school.
So it's the only way it's up really, you know? Kids playing at a young age and enjoying it.
The crowd for Wigan's match against Catalan certainly got an eyeful of Justin Murphy's freak incident. The winger amazingly came through unscathed, but the French were to topple to a 3rd consecutive league defeat.
Hyam again, now Luluai. This is good hands by Wigan. Into Bailey, Bailey with the little push off. Plenty of work to do from deep inside their own half. Here's Luluai. Trent Barrett will decide to take them on, and Trent Barrett with loads of support turns Clint Greenshields inside out. It's a classy try for Wigan. Here's Luluai, quickly away again. They're in their stride once more at Wigan. It's Ashton, who we know has plenty of pace, and no one's going to get close to him. Chris Ashton
gliding away. Great Wigan try.
And Miller's happy. Mick Potter, not quite so. And more misery here from Mick Potter's point of view, because Wigan are streaming away once more. It's Calderwood. Calderwood will race away. Easy. Very, very easy.
But the French resistance was much stronger for their next Super League outing.
Good start here from the Dragons. Jones. Maguire with the kick. The chase is on. Katabe will win the race. Well, Warrington just went to sleep. Burial. Oh, Penny intercepts. You won't stop him from 50 yards, let alone 15. Stacey Jones again in charge for the Dragons. Bosk, great hands. Terrific try for John Wilson. That was a brilliant Catalan score. The Wolves on the back foot again. Stacey Jones. Maguire. Now here's Mogg. Has he got the pace? He won't need to. Maguire involved at the start, involved crucially at the finish. Quigley. It's been a dreadful start to the second half for Warrington. It's going to get even worse. Jason Croker for Catalan. A rare foray into French territory for Warrington. Clark, though, has Briers. Briers goes for the line. 100th try of Lee Briers' career. Now what can they do now? Ah, brilliant from Briers. What a terrific piece of play from Lee Briers. Now the chase is on. Riley, he could win it for Warrington. He goes for the corner. Oh! What happened? Brilliant defence from Thomas Bosk. The life of Riley. He'll never forget that.
Riley certainly had a night to forget, but for rugby union-bound Leslie Vainicolo making his farewell Bradford appearance, it would be a night to remember after 5 glorious years with the Bulls.
Terrific atmosphere inside Headingley. 22,000 sellout. Newton. Vainicolo. What a start this could be. Vainicolo throws off Webb. And Peacock. The volcano explodes in his last game for the Bulls. Fantastic try. All the hustle and bustle of the West Yorkshire derby here at Headingley. Sinfield. Lovely pass for Lee Smith. He's in at the corner. Well, Kevin Sinfield showing his class. 6-point advantage for the Bulls at the moment. That's a good ball out. Tupu will go for the corner. Taylor Tupu. Well, the referee will have another look. He's a man-mounted, isn't he? What a replacement he'll be for the Volcano. And that is a try. Well, the ball goes to ground, and it's picked up now by St Hilaire. Morrison, has he got the legs? He's got support. He may not need it. Glenn Morrison, that could do it. That could win it for Bradford. You can see how much it means to the Bulls. A fitting finale for Leslie Vainicolo.
God bless. Peace.
Wigan's hopes of a top 6 finish suffered a major blow in June, with reliable fullback Michael Withers forced to retire. And the lack of confidence in the Warriors' defence was clearly evident in the Wakefield match, with prop Richard Moore marauding through for an incredible try. Leeds travelled to Knowsley Road at the start of July, looking for a second league victory over St Helens in 3 months. But the champions had demolished Catalan in their last home match, and despite being without injured scrum half Sean Long, they were sure to take some beating on their own patch.
Saints again looking to pick holes. That was a high shot from Luluai. And there's just a little bit of afters there. Pass to Valu.
Kylie, make sure we get him down.
Kylie Luluai. Luluai is told to keep his arms down. And it's a good opportunity here for St Helens, and it's a simple try in the end. Well, they've been knocking at the door for a long, long time now, and Roby with the simplest of scores in the end for St Helens.
Chen's okay.
Well, he just had a look, didn't he? He saw the gap under the tackle of Maguire. No problem with that try. Picked up at the base of the scrum. Good ball. Here's Maguire. Maguire's over underneath the post. Planned move from Leeds, and it worked to perfection. Media support out on the left for Leeds. It's a good ball from Lauatiti. Here's Rob Burrow. Burrow. Oh, he just sees a half gap there and burrows through. And that is a magnificent piece of individual skill from Rob Burrow. Well, Saints have got to throw caution to the wind here. It's Fozzard. Fozzard with the offload. Oh, it's intercepted by Tansey. Tansey's got a clear run. Will Wellens catch him? I don't think he will. No way Paul Wellens was going to catch Jordan Tansey once he head towards the corner, and that will seal a happy trip back over the Pennines for the Leeds Rhinos supporters.
It never rains, but it pours, and that was certainly the case for St Helens at the start of July, as Bradford rained on their parade in monsoon-like conditions at Odsal.
A filthy night in Bradford. Newton has a Saints player in his way. It's Deacon's clever little kick. Should be Gardner's. Well, Gardner has blocked that, and Saint-Hilaire is there to pounce. Really has poured down all night at Odsal. Good ball back inside to Paul Wellens. The Bradford tackling at the moment is as keen as mustard, though. It's a good ball initially from Cunningham. Talau, has he got the strength? Well, the ball has squirmed loose there, but I think Talau has grounded it. The referee again will go to his video official. Strong, powerful man, Willie Talau, and there's nothing wrong with that. And those are the first points that Saints have scored in 2 halves of rugby. Incredible, isn't it? A smiling Talau. Bennett among the tacklers there for St Helens. We're back in this game now. Good little offload. Was that high on James? I think it was. It was John Wilkin who is the culprit there. Deacon with the little offload. You can see that was a little bit high, so this will be a Bradford penalty. Possibly go on report, I think that. And Phil Bentham talking to both of his touch judges. Well, I think there's going to be a card here. I heard the words very serious as well. That must be a touch judge ruling, and I think he's off here. There's the red card, and John Wilkin is the 3rd player this season to be sent off. So Deacon with the opportunity to extend Bradford's lead. Mr. Reliable doesn't miss from there.
John Wilkin wasn't the only one in trouble at the start of July, with a pitch invasion after the Hull derby landing both Hull and Hull KR in hot water. But with Rovers beating Catalan in France to claim a much-needed win, and the Black and Whites hitting top form, both were making the right headlines at the end of the month.
It's been such a tight game. Here's Hall. Oh, it's a neat offload to Singh. Real chance for Hull here. Horn and still, and they're in front. Throwing it around, still trying to find a way through, but Craig Hall has picked that one off. He's taken the chance, and it's paid off.
Tough win, really pleasing with the fact that we had 5 kids from Hull that were under 20 and a couple making their debut, so that was very pleasing.
I'm actually a little bit pleased that the game went ahead because, you know, I know Hull's been hit hard with the floods in recent weeks, and I had a fear that really heavy today, the rain, so I just thought that might have had an effect on whether it got played or not.
After those freakish storms, there was as much confidence in the British weather as there was in the Salford defence at the start of July. And following heavy defeats to Wakefield and Warrington, Reds boss Sean McRae brought in 3 new faces ahead of the Bradford game in a desperate bid for success.
Sexton on his debut. Malcolm, so often the inspiration for Salford. Here's Luke Robinson now with a little grubber kick. It's a chase for Fayana. Oh, did he get there? Was there a foot in touch here? Have a look at the trailing foot. In fact, have a look at both feet. The touchdown comes there. Now, was that trailing foot over the whitewash? This angle tells us what? Well, that angle says his foot was lifted when he touched the ball down. It is a try. Salford have their score. Gray Fayana is the man for the moment. Great attacking position here for Bradford. Here comes Deacon, looks out left, taken on by Evans, who's going to test the line, and he's just going to be held up only 5 yards away. Much improved effort by Bradford in the second half. Tupou! Oh, brutal, absolutely brutal. He just ran over Wilshire, knocked him out of the way, and Bradford have their first try. Here's Newton. Solomona, they're working that blind side again. They got the overlap with Tupou! Oh my word! Saxton did not stand a chance. And Bradford lead now by 10 points to 8, and Salford are in trouble. They really are. They're already asking Leslie who. Same Tupou is the new kid on the block, and he's a big kid too. Some concerns for Sean McRae. Here's Dawn. Robinson. Dawn again. Good hands by Salford. It's Moore. Oh, he stood up St-Hilaire. Wonderful footwork. Dawn. St-Hilaire's in pursuit, but Robinson will scamper away. Salford have put their noses back ahead at a critical stage.
Bradford may have lost, but they'd unearthed their new weapon of mass destruction in Tame Tupou.
It wasn't sort of a big deal knowing that, people see me as fitting in big shoes of Les. We've seen what Les can do, and he's the sort of caliber that he's got. It's just really good to have someone like that at your club, and he's with the amount of tries and the things that he's done for Bradford and the club and everything. It's just only you'll see probably one in 100 years that can do that, and that's the sort of person he is. Just really shy and modest and honest as well. So that's Leslie for you. Obviously, when you move to different places, you want to be at the top club of a competition. So I've made a good decision, and I've backed my decision, and it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it so far.
Elsewhere, Huddersfield's season continued to go from the ridiculous to the sublime, as they produced a stunning second-half comeback to seal the points at Wakefield. But the Wildcats bounced back at Headingley a week later to move to 5th in the table.
Alves brings in Jeffries, brings in Atkins, who has the strength to cross. Alves, Jeffries, oh, it's a clever kick, and George gets there, and Wakefield will have a famous win.
July was also shaping up nicely for Wigan, with back-to-back wins over Leeds and Bradford, lifting them up into 4th in the table, before the Warriors suffered a knockout blow at St Helens, with prop Stuart Fielden forced to leave the field after only 2 minutes, following his collision with Nick Fossard.
Oh, big hit by Flannery, has given Price the ball, and Leon Price scores. But what a way to mark your debut. Chris Flannery here, straight into the ribs of Sean O'Loughlin. And it falls nicely for Price to saunter in.
Another Saints win, but Price was in trouble for displaying his ball-handling skills the following week. He was spotted putting the squeeze on former Bulls teammate Sam Burgess. It was a stunt that would earn the Great Britain star a 3-match ban. Leeds revealed that Brian McLennan would be taking over from Tony Smith in the coaching hot seat at the end of the season. It was a major coup for the Rhinos to secure the services of McLennan, who'd guided New Zealand to Tri-Nations glory in 2005. He'd be inheriting a side who were more than holding their own in Super League 12, well placed in 2nd at the end of July. August began with the relegation 4-pointer at the Willows, as basement boys Salford met Hull KR, in a match many believed would condemn the losing side to the drop.
The importance of this game can't be underestimated, but at the end of the day, it's not worth any more or less points than what you play for any other weekend.
If you are the unfortunate team that goes down, you're out of a job, aren't you? You're looking for new work, and that's why I think you'll see, everyone motivated to play well from both sides, because it's quite easy to get up for these games.
It's not the end of the road come Saturday morning. One team will certainly have an advantage, and fingers crossed that will be us.
Here's Hodgson. Well, some very lazy-looking defending there, and it's allowed Hodgson through, and Finnegan's in support here. Well, they got back in time, but there's suddenly a tie
tide of red flowing towards this Hull Kingston Rovers line. Robinson over the top. Here's Barnett. Good footwork, good reach. Webster, smart play by him. Options right and left. Too many to count. O'Neill is fallen over, and he just gets back and scores in time. Fisher skips it wide. Webster wider still. Here's Cook now. Little dummy from him, and again. Oh, smart play by Paul Cook. Couple of dummies, a dart and a reach. Salford will be desperate to get something back before the half-time hooter sounds. Here's Alka, flat ball to Finnegan, who bursts over. Salford have their noses ahead in this pressure pot of a game. Bishop having a little look around, seeing what's available to him. Here's Webster again with a little step and a dummy inside. O'Neill for his second try. Perfect start to this second half for Hull KR. Here's Fisher. Now Cook goes long. It's a trademark pass, and Lennon will score. And now they believe it could be their night. Hull Kingston Rovers really hard, hitting Salford hard. Jean. Here's Cook. On again. Chester over the top. Dyer's in. Look, Dyer scores. They're running away with it now.
It was a bitter defeat for Sean McRae's side, who travelled to Leeds in hope rather than expectation.
Diskin. Well, he's seen the gap, and there's Thackeray, and it's 8-0. Diskin times the offload to perfection. Keith Senior's in, and Leeds are in the 20s already. Kevin Sinfield, it's the kick forward. What will the bounce do? It will favour Maguire, and the game's over already.
We probably got what we deserved. We started poorly. We allowed Leeds far too much field position and far too many possessions at us, and we just weren't able to hang on to a very powerful, well-drilled side. When you're at the bottom of the table, every game's tough, but we just got to keep believing we can win games, and you just never know what'll happen.
Warrington certainly had the belief as they blitzed Wigan at home to keep themselves in the playoff picture.
John Clark, and now Kevin Penny, foot on the gas, and he's got round Chris Ashton, the master finisher, under the posts.
Warrington's win over Wigan left a huge dent in the Warriors' playoff hopes, but they'd bounced back the following week with victory over Huddersfield to mark the start of an incredible unbeaten run.
It's going to be Barrett who applies the boot. High and hanging, teasing and testing as ever. It's Gardner can't get a touch. Goulding does. Daryl Goulding with a touchdown for Wigan.
Sean, nothing out, man.
Brown. It's Wild who's running wide and has suddenly seen the gap, and Stephen Wild is in. Here's Luluai. Tackle 6 again, just a bit of a reach for Barrett, but the kickback is not a bad one. It's not backwards, it's ping to Hyam, and the door's open. Robbie Paul with a feed. Can Huddersfield take advantage here? Here comes Thorman. Nero on the angle and rips through. Well, terrific play by Huddersfield. Swept back in midfield again, and Barrett puts it high. Was taken late, was he? Well, the kick comes down, and the touch judge wants a word here. Stephen Wild is protesting his innocence. Well, it wasn't that late, was it? He went at him in the act of kicking, but it is going to be a yellow card. Sin bidding for Stephen Wild, who cannot believe the harsh treatment. Richards adds another 2. We're going to get him there by instalments at the moment. But after a tough couple of weeks, at least they're smiling again.
The Wigan fans had further reason to celebrate the following day, as their arch-rivals St Helens were put to the sword by Catalan.
Here's Morg. That's nicely flighted. Katani! Reaches down. Well, it looked ever so simple. Jones with a kick. Oh, it's missed by Millie and touchdown by Murphy.
Really has been a grinded out kind of performance from Catalans for the most part tonight. Chagas with a good ball. It's Morg with a run and Croker in support. Tallow. Oh, he's given up. Willie Tallow gives up the chase and Croker by the side of the sticks makes it 12-0 for the Catalan. It's a significant score. Here's Greenshields, good run by him, through Farsavalu, past Wellens, beyond them all. What a smart try that is. And that absolutely confirms a famous win here for Catalan. That was really sharp play by Greenshields. The fullback flew away, and three St Helens defenders could not put a hand on him. And they know they're on the way. Stacey Jones for the drop goal, that's it! Puts the icing on the cake. It's been a fabulous night for the Catalan Dragons.
August was also a good month for Hull FC, who came flying up on the outside after being under the radar for much of the year. And their impressive home demolition of Warrington was followed by a crucial trip to Wakefield, in a match billed as the playoff eliminator.
Here's David March. Wakefield looking back down the middle again. Hull's defence is keen and tight, but it's a good drive by Dale Ferguson, which might just have set a little momentum going Wakefield's way here now. Demetriou has lost it. It's Willie Mano who picks it up, and Hull FC with a chance to open the scoring. If Mano's got the pace here, he's going to go the distance, and touchdown. Well, a real mistake by Demetriou. Wakefield piling on all the pressure here now. Jeffries throws it wider left. Here it goes, Atkins. Well, they stretch the whole defence beyond breaking point. Here's Tommy Lee. Hull pressing hard again now. A little dance back on the inside from Paul King, but he's done well to keep the ball alive and keep it going, and out it goes. Here's Hall. Craig Hall with the legs. Has he got it down? It looked as though he might have bounced it. When the referee goes for the video replay, well, there's nothing wrong with that grounding. That's a good try. And it is confirmed. And Hull will be back in the lead. Jeffries again, little pick-up from dummy half. Throwing it wide. Good little slip and turn by Alima. Great offload as well. And Demetriou, it's opened up for him. Well, what a good try this was. March again, Paul March, who's up at dummy half. Little shuffle to his left. Oh, it's a good break by Jeffries, who has support right and left, and finds Rooney to streak away. Good try. Excellent play by Jeffries. And it means Wakefield will have the lead at half-time.
Advantage Wakefield at the break then, but Hull would hit back in the second half to secure the vital win.
Another jab kick, and Tickle was there. Ball over the top, and the score by Rayner. Here's Head. Matthew Head will score. Here comes Hall, back inside to Whiting, and Whiting scores, and that could be it. Tony back. It's going to be Hull who win at a canter at the end.
Warrington were making all the headlines in August. Stuart Reardon, the latest casualty at the Halliwell Jones. He became yet another player to be ruled out for the season. But the shock news from the Wolves camp was that they wouldn't be renewing try-machine Henry Farfili's contract at the end of the year.
might still be alive for the next two. You just don't know.
As it turned out, Salford weren't alive after Hull KR secured their Super League status in dramatic style, with an 8-try blitz of their rivals.
Alcott going out wide, Reece Lovegrove. He's bounced off Sean Briscoe, and he will score. Webster. Oh, brilliant from Webster. He's cut Hull open here, and he's going all the way, and he will guarantee safety in the Super League for Hull KR.
To come into the KC Stadium and put 40 past the team that's been the form team of the comp for the last month, very satisfying, and obviously to secure our Super League status, it's you couldn't script it any better.
You know, it's 42-6, so that's belting in any man's language. And we've got Leeds on Friday night, very good rugby league team, and we need to regroup and go to Leeds and perform a hell of a lot better than what we did today.
Here's Ablett, only just on the bench, is on from the bench as well, Carl Ablett. Buchanan, Burrow. Little searching, probing run from Rob Burrow. Almost snooped away through. Hull's defence might be creaking here. Sinfield, flat ball. Just held on to there, Thackeray. 6 tackle coming up. Sinfield. Back to Burrow again, little kick. Oh, it got a hand. Westbrook got a hand to it. And it's steered into the path of Ablett. Only on the field, a matter of moments. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Leeds will have a try here. It's the first of the night. After half an hour, the deadlock is finally broken. Here comes Godwin from dummy half, little dummy. And Jamie Jones-Buchanan can't keep him out. The referee is satisfied the ball was grounded. An intense game. Both defences to the fore at the moment, just those 2 tries. They're closing in on half-time. Head with a kick. It's taken by Rayner. Oh, splendid play by the winger. Well, the referee will have a look at the grounding here and whether there was a foot in touch. He's just short. He's short with the initial foot down. I think his feet were always clear in the air, so no doubts there. It's a question of whether the ball was grounded properly. He was short. Carries him on. Now, is that good enough to give him a try? It is! Hull in the lead! Tickle. Back to the middle. King. Has a little look around, and Paul King will fancy his chances! The surge is just stopped. But Hull are edging ever closer here. Here's Lee. It's back to Matthew Head. It's a one-pointer that makes a 2-score difference now between Leeds and Hull. Still a good position here for Hull. Here's Horn. Offloads. This time Rayner's got a bit of a gap, and this time he will finish. Let one slip a moment ago, but now he gets his second of the night. And he holds off some determined defending. Try confirmed. Hull's win confirmed. They will be in the playoffs. Gareth Rayner, a real star on the night.
Hull were joined in the playoffs by Huddersfield, whose 6th win in their last 7 matches completed a remarkable turnaround. But it was a bad weekend for Warrington, with defeat at St Helens and Wigan's win at Hull KR ensuring that the 6th spot would go down to the wire. The Wolves, though, would be without prop forward Adrian Morley for their must-win match at Salford. He received his marching orders from referee Ashley Klein for a high shot on youngster Paul Clough.
A very good evening to you. We're live at 2 venues tonight here at the Willows. It's Warrington against Salford, whilst at the JJB it's Wigan versus St Helens. Tonight we'll discover who'll fill the final playoff spot in Super League 12. A win for Wigan puts them into the top 6. If they slip up, a win for Warrington puts the Wolves in the playoffs.
Sense of glory here. Cunningham. Price. Good ball wide, and Tallard's over.
And Warrington have just taken the lead. I think it was Henry Farpey who's just gone in at the corner.
It's in a bit of an overlap here. Here's Bialicki on his troubles. Two in support. Wellens tries to keep track. Bialicki with a dummy. He's going to go the distance. Terrific confidence and excellent pace for the Kiwi.
Warrington are piling players forward to the left-hand corner, and they've got it again.
Flicks it back to Price, who's going to go the aerial route. Gardner's underneath it. Oh, it's a prodigious jump. What a leap by Emily Gardner.
Chance here for Warrington. Shoelittle going down the right-hand corner. Back inside. Westwood punches over. Warrington back in front. Ben Westwood's just gone in for his second score for Warrington Wolves, but it won't count for anything, of course, unless St Helens win at the JJB.
Here's Cena. Good run by him. Great pass. Lula! Millard again. Wide they go once more. Bialicki got off goal. Coleman's in. Liam Coleman. Wigan back in the lead. What a fight they're putting up tonight. 10 seconds left, that's all. As Kalis bangs it in, you can hear the countdown. 22,000 inside the JJB tonight. It caps a terrific average for the year as Bialicki goes racing away. David Bialicki's got 80 yards once, but he's not going to do it this time. Gidley hauls him down. And they know that Wigan have secured the place in the playoffs as the Hooter sounds smiles all around. What a win for Wigan.
Warrington have been pipped at the post for that 6th playoff position.
We let it slip early in the season. It's not just about tonight. Probably lost it halfway through the season.
No, we're disappointed we're not in the 6. You know, pleased we've finished the season with a win, but you know you've got to commend the players that we put out on the field tonight. They have pushed their bodies to breaking point, and they've broken tonight. You know, the guys have literally fallen through the dressing room door. There was not another step in us. We're disappointed we're not in the 6. If we'd have got in it, I'm not quite sure what would have been left for next week, to be honest.
So, as the curtain came down on the regular season, the lineup for the 2007 Super League Dream Team was announced at Huddersfield.
Obviously, you know, you've been doing something right during the season, so I'm made up to be in it, and, you know, there's a squad full of great players, so brilliant. Obviously, having Kieran there, you know, probably no one better in the game for me to learn off, and can't go around saying I want to be starting, especially with someone like Kieran in front of me, so I'm just made up to be, you know, playing for St Helens, and I'm fine with coming off the bench, and, you know, just as long as I play as many minutes as I can for St Helens, that's brilliant. It's a really big honour for me, something that I'm extremely proud of, and I look forward to getting out there in 2 weeks' time and showing them why I got this jersey.
Very privileged to, you know, be in this position in the Dream Team in 2007. I was fortunate enough to make it for the last couple of seasons, and I'm pleased that I've managed to maintain my form really, and I'm enjoying my rugby, and I think that's the main reason behind the success.
Obviously, there's a lot of quality players running around, so to be named in the team is something that I'm sort of pretty happy about.
And these sorts of things are great to be involved with, but you know, you have to give your credit to your teammates too. I suppose I've been lucky to play in a good side.
Lads are calling me like an old wine, you know, maturing wine, I get better with age, but you know, I'm happy with the season that I've had. I would like to play in the playoffs, but you know, there's pressure for me to perform even better next year.
What's the word really, to be named in the Dream Team amongst some of the players that are there, it's just breathtaking. I think the personal highlight was to score against St Helens in the Challenge Cup. I mean, that was probably my favourite try. Just remember looking up and seeing Jono with the ball in his hands and just give it me, and to do something here, and just put my head down and went. Everyone seems to think I just got something for wearing coloured boots. I just don't like black boots really, that's all it is. So seeing the kit Warrington, I thought it would go well, so I'll give them a try.
Leeds were the best represented club in the Dream Team with 4 players. The champions St Helens had 3, including 2007 Man of Steel James Roby. Wigan's Trent Barrett and Bradford's Glenn Morrison were also acknowledged after excelling in their first season.
Really pleased and thank whoever voted that, to see that we're playing pretty well. I think we've played pretty well at different times through the year, but probably not put a run together like we have now.
Nobby's been really good. He's certainly got a knack of getting sides up in finals, and his record speaks for itself.
Trent's the first to admit that he's got a good complementary cast around him, and some other players have played pretty well at the moment. And our team ethic is what we've built this run on, and it will continue. But it's real nice having a special player like Trent around.
It's a night when Wigan hope to begin an unprecedented run to the grand final after a 6th place finish to the league season. But Brian Noble knows his side are up against the past masters at getting the timing right. This is the time of year that Bradford traditionally hit form. Here's Newton. Flat ball, Lynch. Difficult take, but they've got the overlap here. Solomona can create something. Doesn't need any support. Simply hands Calderwood away. Just over 3 minutes play, and Bradford have their opening try, and it came a little easy. It's Newton. Newton went himself. There was a dummy run by Henderson on his outside, but Field and the defender didn't take his eyes off Terry Newton, and doesn't look too comfortable as he gets himself back to his feet, does he? Here's Henderson. A wasted opportunity. 3 tackles gone. Solomona will try a similar route. He's over the line. Question is, has he got it down?
Dummy half specialist Solomona that close to the line. Without having a look at it, I have to say, be very close to getting that down. Very hard to stop there, the big man. Certainly got it on the ground. Whether he's got it on the white line or not.
They have the benefit of the doubt option, don't they? That does go with the attacking side if the video referee's not entirely sure.
This one might show us. To me, that looks like the ball's on the ground.
Or is it his head? It's his head, isn't it?
No, I think that's the ball. It's the same colour, isn't it?
You have to worry when you can't work out whether it's his head or the ball.
I won't tell him you said that his head looks like a ball.
He's touched down with something anyway. Well, David Solomono is preparing to celebrate his 2nd try of the night. And benefit of the doubt is Ben Thaler's decision, the video referee. 5 tackles to play with here, and only 10 yards away from that Wigan line. A try now might be crucial in the context of the game so close to half-time. It's Iestyn Harris out to Solomona, who's on a hat-trick and might just have it here. I don't think the referee's going to need the video this time. He isn't. Steve McNamara will be the happier coach. Solomona is certainly the happiest player on the field at the moment. 3 tries for him tonight, and Bradford now thoroughly in control. 4 tackles gone, 2 to come. Newton again. And look for the fringes. Morrison, and then steps back on the inside, and Bielicki for the moment was wrong-footed, recovered, but not in time to stop the pass away. Iestyn Harris, surely now, has won the game for Bradford, even this early in the second half. Well, that's good hands, and here's Bailey, and suddenly they're running 3, and Calderwood with a chance to finish here. Platt did his best, but he was never going to stop them scoring there. It was 2-on-1. It was clever play by Wigan. The barest flicker of a celebration tells you that it might not matter at the end of the night. It's Fletcher and Luluai. Trent Barrett again. Oh, great ball to Calderwood. Made the gap for the winger, and Calderwood is in again. 2nd try in a matter of moments, and suddenly there is self-belief. To Lachlan. Here's Luluai. It's Barrett again. Hansen! They have scored again! Trent Barrett, crucially, with another hand in it. And this is the theatre of the absurd now. Bradford Bulls were home and hosed, and suddenly Brian Noble's side are charging back at them, and Wigan ain't finished yet. Lynch to his feet. Terry Newton scampers away. Good tackle, offload. Picked up by Happy, intercepted! It's Calderwood!
just handed the game back to Wigan. Literally unbelievable.
Four tackles. Richards is in position. Back it goes. The chase is on. Richards has got it away. Steve Ganson holds the arm aloft. The recovery is complete. Wigan lead. It is sensational. Utterly sensational. They have never seen anything like it. It is Bradford 30, Wigan 31 as a result of this.
Fantastic play by Richards. Had plenty of pressure there. Stepped to his right, popped it on the right foot. Comfortable as could be.
It was an exciting game, I suppose, for the spectators, and I feel for the Bradford players, because to lose a game in that respect is not very nice, and they've done it tough all year with their injuries, and I thought they were away. I thought after 60 minutes they were gone. They were very physical. They did the little things better than we did, and then we found a spark, and then another spark, and all of a sudden it became a fire, and we were unstoppable towards the back end there.
Wigan would meet Hull in the next round of the playoffs after the Early Birds overcame a spirited Huddersfield side to set up a mouth-watering clash in which the winners would be only 80 minutes away from Old Trafford.
I think we just done enough to win last week, and no offence against Huddersfield, they're not as good a team as Wigan are, so we're going to be at our best on Saturday night. We've trained really well this week, and if we go at our best, I'm sure we can get the job done.
That's a good kick. Trouble there for Lulawai. Oh, I think they're going to score. Lulawai left it. He was waiting for the ball to go over that in-goal area.
Take the onside in the ground.
That could be a try. Decision from Ashley Klein, the video referee, and it's a try. Three tackles remaining in the sequence. Lulawai again. Good ball. Over the line. It'll be over. Yes. That's the try. Wigan took the right decision. Mr. Ganson makes his decision. And Wigan grabbed the 4-pointer. Gareth Hawk having a big influence on this game. Good ball. Oh, and Coleman is in. Beautiful pass on the inside. Coleman given the extra yard of space out wide. And suddenly the Wigan fans sense again this could be their night.
Wigan were on a roll, but their next game would be against the losers of the top two clash, as St Helens met Leeds for a place in the grand final.
Cunningham again. Here's Smith. Now with Price running from deep. Wilkin. And again it's an interception, and this time Smith has kept hold of it, Lee Smith. And he does have banks of pace here, and he is going to go the distance. What a stunning try. It's turned the game right on its head. And Lee Smith has taken the ball fully 95 yards and scored remarkably. Cunningham again now picks up from acting half. It's back with Matty Smith. Now he's going to be put down but less than 10 yards away. And back to the middle and Wilkin. Here's Price. Price with a step, and the defence simply opened up. Super footwork from Leon Price, right against the grain of that Leeds defence. He went one way, every single defender went the other. And St Helens almost have parity again. This is Cunningham. Here comes Fozar. Oh, that was high.
It's high, it's in front, and about 4 St Helens players pointed not at the tackle but at the post. They know they want the 2 points.
Well, Jamie Peacock, the moment he made contact there, knew that he'd given away a very kickable penalty.
It wasn't that bad though, was it? The arm was bent, it wasn't like he went out to do any damage. He wanted to stop Fozard, but the big factor is that it's a 2-point chance for St Helens here to take the lead again.
Matty Smith, young player, big responsibility. 2 points that could take St Helens ever closer to a place in the grand final.
With Saints having booked their place at Old Trafford, Leeds would have to battle it out against a hairy Wigan side, who had a shaving ban in force.
Plenty of moustaches in evidence. It's like watching a 1970s cop show, isn't it?
One's a little bit thin, a bit whispery, a bit wily.
The only good thing about it is if you have a hamburger at lunchtime, you can taste it about 2 hours later still.
Billy Millard's is one of the best moustaches I've seen. Mine will be getting off tonight though. I'm not in that crew.
I don't know whether they've run out of shaving foam or the razor blunt, but it's been part of the run, and the fans have bought into it as well. It's been a great part of the humour that we try to build at the club as well, and you know, it's been a good relief at times.
You know, Leeds at Leeds is always a tough one, and you know, they're coming off a pretty tough game last week. I thought they were unlucky to lose actually, so they're going to be fired up, and they've been one of the better sides all year, so you know, it's going to take a big effort.
We heard a bit for the first couple of days, which you'd expect, and you know, when something means so much to you and you get so close to it, that's going to hurt, but in good shape physically and pretty good shape mentally too. We just finished training today, and the boys are in good spirits.
Playing in grand finals don't come around very often, and you know, we had an opportunity, as did Saints, to get into the grand final at the first time of asking, and we failed to do that. So we've got one more opportunity to do it, and I know that every single Leeds player is, you know, vying to do that.
Here's Peacock, looking for a route down the middle, and he's found it, and he has support from Webb. It's going to be the first try of the night. Jamie Peacock bulldozing through, and Webb with a real flair and a real sprint finish. Sinfield grabs to his left, sees the gap, just dealt with. Hansen and then Barrett. Here's Maguire. It's a surge! It's a try for Lauatiti. Luai, six tackle, little kick. I think Barrett's offside. And the referee says play on. Barrett takes it, has a look inside, and here comes Richards. It's a wonderful try if it stands. Well, the referee, I think he's going to point the finger. Yes, he is. Here's Sinfield. Oh, good dummy. And a good break by Sinfield. Here's James Buchanan. This could be it. Burrow sprints away. Leeds are going to Old Trafford. Will Burrow dives in. They know they have something to celebrate now.
It was pretty comprehensive, I thought. Our intentions were there, and you know, before the game I could feel it as well with the players. Their intention was right before the game, and you know, against a dangerous team and a team who's, you know, been finding a way to win, and you know, but it wasn't going to be tonight. We were going to make sure that we were going to get there.
It's an unprecedented double treble that St Helens go in search of tonight. World champions, Challenge Cup winners and Super League champions last year. Only Leeds stand between them and another clean sweep. Maguire again. Peacock on the outside, wider still. Still it goes, Senior to Donald. Donald back on the inside. This is good. It's going to be Webb with the first try of the night. Brent Webb, the fullback, is over. It was a wonderfully crafted try. Good hands, thrilling stuff. 18 minutes played. Leeds have the first try. Roby. Back to Sean Long. Here's Price. And Long now in support again, and a little dash and a weave and a dart, and he's half through and has support too. Where's this going? Roby! James Roby is going to go all the way. Smith couldn't get hold of it, and the man of steel has struck goal for St Helens.
He is deceptively strong. Incredible.
He's having an outstanding season, and it is just getting better and better for James Roby. Sinfield puts the kick in, came off a boot, was played at. It'll be another 6 here. Another 6 once Smith is tackled. Or maybe Lauatiti. Lauatiti all the way! Oh my word! What a finish! St Helens caught cold, and the referee happy to give it on the first viewing. Leeds fans may be sensing that this is their side's night tonight. With a wonderful try.
They've got to go for more. Simple as that.
Oh, and Leeds again. Here's Donald. Good play to get him clear. Donald's going to take on
is one right out of the traditional books. Sinfield. Burrow's going to go for the drop goal. Leeds fans are celebrating even before Ashley Clines confirmed it. But it is a crucial point because now St Helens have to score 3 times to win the game. 6 tackle, Maguire. Not that high. Donald. Oh, what a take! What a try! Lee Smith might just be the game. Picked the pockets of St Helens. And Lee Smith with a try that surely makes Leeds untouchable.
Sinfield is in the pocket. There he goes.
Well, he thought about it, the rush from Kalis, then it's done wide to Senior. Senior's got Maguire, Senior wants to go himself. It's Tupi. Linton Tupi says, who wants this? All right, I'll have it myself. Flashing the ball away, still showing it. And now he's got it off to Diskin. Diskin inside, Jones Buchanan. Buchanan will score. That's it. Fitting finale. Leeds have won it by 33 points to 6. It has been one of the outstanding grand final performances by them. Kevin Sinfield to lift the Engage Super League trophy. After tonight, it's no longer Tony Smith's Barmy Army, but in his last game in charge, he has delivered a fairy tale ending. Leeds Rhinos, the Super League champions of 2007.
And the champions received a fitting reception upon their triumphant return to Leeds.